Good marketing speaks to your audience and it has to be relatable to them. How do you know what to say? Simple. Ask them. That is what Peter Shankman recommends. All right. What do you do with marketing? Honestly, I have no idea. Today I've got Peter Shankman, author, entrepreneur, and founder of SOS, Source of Sources, also the author of Faster Than Normal, The Boy with a Faster Brain, and also the host of the Faster Than Normal podcast. Father, entrepreneur, good old great guy. Peter, thanks for coming back on.
Good to be back, brother.
Marketing. You wrote a book called something about zombies. What was that called again?
Zombie loyalists. Yeah.
Yeah. So like a lot of people, like myself too, like what is marketing? How do you market? Because there's so many different opinions out there and you've been very successful with that market of marketing. What would be a good advice or outline or explanation how we can start marketing effectively as a small business?
I think the number one answer is before you say anything or do anything or try to sell anything, you really got to know your audience. You got to take some time and understand your audience. I think too many people sort of go into marketing thinking, well, my audience must be exactly like me, so I'll just tell them about the stuff that I like. And it's not actually accurate because, every single audience is niche. Every single audience has its own sort of way of thinking. Every member has its own sort of way of thinking. So you really have to sort of get into their brains. You have to understand what an audience wants. Hannibal Lecter said it best in Silence of the Lambs. He said, "We covet what we know," right? So, you have to understand what your audience knows and then give them things that are similar to that so that they go in thinking, oh, I recognize that. I understand that. That speaks to me, right? Good marketing speaks to you. It makes you think that whatever you're doing and whatever you're trying to sell to these people is relative to them and they understand it. So the best thing that you could possibly do is understand your audience, see where they're coming from, understand what they're doing, and reach out to them that way.
So we actually have to understand what their needs and wants and pain points. Is that something that could be faked to be successful or, because
It's hard to fake it, but it is easy to, there are ways to figure it out. So, the number one thing you can do is ask them. Every company I've ever run, I've always answered my own email, right? And they always say, if you have any problems, email me. And it's not hard to reach out to someone who's bought a product of yours or someone who's on your mailing list and just say, hey, what am I doing? What can I do better? Right? We so expect uh, to be treated like an automation, right? Every single email you get from these big companies that say, tell us how we did. The one thing they have in common is that they all come from the email address, do not reply or we'll kill your children at
yes, good
whatever,
point.
right? Well, if you're telling me not to reply and you're sending me an email, how much do you really care about me? What I'd love to see is tell me, John at the company you just bought from. I'm John at the company you just bought from. I want to know how we did. Tell me what I can do better. United does that. They send out after every flight, they send out these emails that say, tell us what we can do better on the next flight. They don't just give you a 1 through 10. They actually give you a text box. Tell us something that excited you about our last flight. Right. And they let people respond as a person as opposed to a survey.
So you're actually talking about like marketing has client interaction.
It has to be client interaction because, again, the majority of people are not so much looking to be marketed to as they are looking to be heard. Right? People that
Can
have
you
a
repeat that
problem.
again? Repeat that again.
People aren't really looking to be marketed to as much as they are looking to be heard. Right? So if you can come up with an answer and give people a way to reach out to you and tell you their thoughts, they always will. They'll tell you exactly what you want to hear as long as you're willing to listen to them. And too many companies forget about the listening part when they're trying to market. They focus all on the selling and they don't focus on the listening.
Too much focus on selling, not listening. So AI is around, bunch of tools, a lot of cool features. How is, like, my observation is we've got a lot of marketing's being replaced by AI bots, basically non-humans, where interactions are actually done with an AI bot. How do you see that affecting the future of marketing or future of like the human interaction part? If you're saying that we need to focus on the listener and to make it about them and you want them to be heard, how can we be heard by an automated bot?
So I'm not anti-AI. I'm not pro-AI, but I'm not anti-AI. I just think that if you're going to use AI, make sure that it's being trained by you. Make sure it knows as much as you do. Don't go into AI thinking that it's going to be the grand solution, because you can do anything to get there, right? AI is a great tool to help you grow as long as you are growing already. What do I mean by that? If you're expecting AI to come in and solve all your problems and handle every issue and just do everything for you, it's not going to do that. It can help you take some of the workload off
Hmm.
if you're already doing the right things. If you already have a great customer service system in place where you're listening to your clients and letting them, and they're telling you what they need, and you're paying attention, you're focusing on that, AI is great to supplement that. Right?
Correct.
Maybe
Yeah.
take off some the waiting time on the phone tree or something like that, but it's not gonna come in and do everything for you while you sit there and play golf. You still have to be involved, at least in the very beginning.
Do you think the audience or the potential buyers actually will know or have a sense that we're not interacting in person? So, because I think the human element's being removed.
The human element is being removed, but it's not entirely being removed. For instance, I don't suggest letting AI handle everything, right?
Agreed.
You still need some people in there. And big companies who dumped all their people in favor of AI are finding that out as they all come back to them now. As they go between the tail with the tail between their legs and rehire. Um, you know, Lack of people is only going to hurt you. Being able to go in, though, however, and say, okay, this is a start. We can take AI and use it with our people at the same time. Again, to make the lines on the phone less. If someone's calling you and all they need is a password reset, they don't need to talk to someone to do that. Right? This frees up people to be there for the calls that do actually need people to help them. That's important.
Where the value is.
Exactly.
Okay. I agree with you that the AI is a tool. It's to help you support no matter how you use the AI, it's an extra tool.
Exactly.
Um,
Everything's a tool.
yeah.
The internet is a tool. Writing. I remember when everyone said, "Oh, the internet's going to replace people. It's going to replace the ability. You don't have to need a pen anymore." I don't know about you, but I still carry a pen on me all the time.
I had to use a pen. Paper still
100%.
works well. What about the social media aspect of marketing? Is there a tactic, a different way we should look at it, or platforms?
You know, with so much slop being posted on social media lately, I'm of the opinion that it'll still be there. It'll still be useful. People still use social, get involved, but I don't think it's to be as big as it currently is. I think we've reached the peak
Interesting.
of social media, and I'm not sure that everyone agrees with me on this, but I think that what we're finding is that we're going the need to go and check our feeds, the need to go and do all this every 1,400 times an hour is shifting a little bit, because a lot of the stuff that's still out there is kind of crap. And I think we know that. I think we're realizing that now. And I think the premise of going to constantly look at what's going on in social media is dropping a little bit, because we don't need to be told everything by bots. I know, and look, I haven't done major surveys on this. I'm a sample of like 15 people I've talked to, but we are definitely looking more at better content as opposed to a ton of content. We're seeing people look at, create better content and look at that content as opposed to scrolling through everything for hours. People are getting sick of doom scrolling. They're becoming aware of
Clickbait.
brain rot,
Yeah.
and they're starting to look at very, very curated specific things online as opposed to just looking at everything. They realize that 99% of the stuff out there is made by bots or made by AI, made by spam, and they're sick of it. So I think we're starting to see more of that.
Yeah, because like even on YouTube, people are saying that their content that's an hour to 2 hours long, people are they're taking that in. Because also somewhere I read, I don't know who came up with this, but basically people have a low attention span of crap, but they'll have a long attention span of good content.
Right.
Like you said, meaningful content.
And our attention span is already short to begin with. It is becoming less and less accepting of having to scroll through crap if we know it's crap.
Right. Fair enough. So what would be a strategy to get non-shitty content?
I think it needs to be real. I think we need to create real things and focus on stuff that we'd want to see, stuff that our audience would want to see. It's involving our audience in it. It's using their content. It's asking them to help create stuff that's good and showcasing it and broadcasting it. It's not, again, not relying on the machines to do the job of thinking for us.
Yeah, not relying not relying on machines to do the thinking for us. It's a really good thing. In a way, that's just people being lazy. And I think
Exactly.
people have a good
Yeah.
filter of lazy people.
100%.
Yeah, and like we've had this conversation a few times is, AI will make creative people more creative, while will make lazy people lazier in a way.
Absolutely.
Around the social media, so the authenticity part and being real, and I guess I'm just needing a little more clarification on that. So what would separate the real and the authenticity that people are wanting, or do you think people are wanting now?
I think, again, it goes back to what I said earlier. People want to be heard. They want to know that their opinions matter, that they're valid. They want to be listened to, and they want to embrace stuff that is real and not.
Mm-hmm.
They want to embrace stuff that's created because it has value, not because someone thinks that they'll like it.
And then that's a big
So
one.
creating
Create the
something
value
for the
rather
sake of
than what.
creating something great
Yeah,
is a much better idea.
yeah. Value building. Yeah. I just got so many 2,000 questions going on at once and possibilities here with these insights. This is really good. So, how can we know that people are heard? So, how can we get people to interact with you on all these, like, that's part of marketing, isn't it? Try and get a client or potential client interaction on these platforms?
Yeah, I mean, potential interaction is good, but again, it has to be interaction that's not forced. It has to be interaction that people say, "Oh, that's interesting. I would do something there." Right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember back in the day, there used to be a lot of, we have 9,995 followers. Our 10,000th follower wins an award. Well, what that's doing is saying screw you to the original 9,995 followers, because, you're just saying, you guys didn't really matter. We're going to focus on that 10,000. Right? So creating something that rewards everyone, right? That we love that you've been with us forever. We want to welcome the new people too. Everyone for the next 24 hours gets a discount on whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We made this video for our audience to understand how much we love them. Everyone gets whatever it is.
That makes a lot of sense. What's your opinion of marketing firms? Because I know that's a question I get a lot. Do we get into marketing firms? I've had some personal experiences where I got hosed. I had to do all the work. And they seem to be like a dime a dozen. And I'm not trying to shit on a lot of the marketing firms that are out there that are good. It's just kind of an observation I made over the last 15 years.
It's a tough question. It's similar to asking the question, what do you think about all women? Are they good or bad? There are good marketing firms and there are shitty marketing firms. You have to do the homework and you have to find the ones that don't suck. There are good ones out there.
So what would I be looking for as a potential client from a
I
firm?
think the first thing you'd be looking for is are they coming in with the same ideas, or are they actually coming in with specifically built ideas for you? Right? I hate the agencies that say, "Oh, we have a package. We'll do this giant package for you." Well, that's the same package you're giving everyone else.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily know that's what I want. I want, if you're going to work with me, I want you to come up with ideas that work with me, that work for me. Right? Don't pitch me the same way you're going to pitch everyone else, because I'm not the same as everyone else.
Oh, so look for someone who's looking at your unique situation, your industry, and
Exactly.
what you're looking for.
Who listens, who learns about me, who takes the time to understand sort of what I do, and said, okay, based on that, we can create this for you.
Rather than just some random process or formula that they have that they apply to everyone and hope it works for you.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Any last words on marketing, what we should think of? Like, this is really, it's around the small business person here. Like, we're just starting out. What do we do? Because there's so much, like, you're flooded with marketing. You got to do it this way. You got to do it that way, blah, blah, blah. How can I make sense of that noise? Do you have one thing to recommend to us that would say, hey, start here and then just go with it?
You have to do it the way that works for you and your audience. Right? And that might be totally different from everyone else. Look, as ADHD people, we are very familiar in doing things the ways that work for us and not necessarily for anyone else, right? Focus on doing what works for you. Focus on doing what works for your company. Focus on doing what works for your employees and for your audience, right? And if that's different than what everyone else says to do, so be it. Do what works for your audience.
So what I heard there is basically it's got to feel right for you to do as well.
Exactly. Because again, your audience is an extension of you. They might not think exactly like you, but they're an extension of you in the respect that you have something in common with them. You're selling to them. They're there for you.
I think that's a great point to start. And like you said, like before, know your audience and understand them. So understanding the audience is actually key. Just because you have something to sell doesn't mean they want it.
Exactly. And I take it even a step further. Just because you have something to sell doesn't mean that they're the right audience for it.
Ooh, very good point.
Right? You have to do that homework and find out if that's what they really want. And if not, you have to pivot, not them.
Client doesn't have to pivot. You do. Well, that's something new. I haven't seen that anywhere before. So that's like you're saying, ask your audience what they want or what their
Everyone
pain
always
points are.
says that, the inventor of the car said that if he didn't convince people they needed a car, they'd still be driving horse and buggy. That's true, but we're not in that age anymore. You have your choice of any kind of car. You have your choice of any kind of product. It was very limited back then.
A good point. And then create something that relates to everyone. Rewards everyone as well and make everyone
Exactly.
feel
Don't just
part
go
of the
into
crowd.
one segment of your audience. See if you can't focus on something that creates for everyone.
Nice. I don't know. Like to me, the big takeaway here is we have to talk to our audience. It's almost as if we have to do that first.
You have to listen.
Ooh, listen to the end. Yeah, that's right. It's one thing to talk to them and ask them, but you need to listen as well,
Exactly.
which I think a lot of people miss.
Yeah. It's not, anyone can talk to an audience. That doesn't mean they're going to listen. If you want them to listen, you have to listen first.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then for marketing firms, make sure that they're helping you create something that's related to you, not just a standardized. I think that really helps me. Now I know what set of questions to ask the potential firm I'm talking to. So I thank you, Peter, for this.
100%.
Where can people find you?
I'm at shankman.com is my whole life. I'm Peter at shankman.com is my email. And I'm at Peter Shankman on all of the socials except Twitter.
And yes, and he means it. If you reach out to him, he will respond, and he does.
I do.
So, and it won't be a bot because you'll tell it's not a bot.
Well, what makes you think I'm not a bot?
Well, that's a whole higher level conversation for another day. But yeah, to you, the listeners, what has your struggles been in marketing lately? And share it with me. Send me an email at andre@theimpulsivethinker.com or share it down below in the comments below. I'd like to hear from you. Thanks again, Peter.
My pleasure. Good talking to you, Andre.
Yeah, same here. And to you, the listeners, thanks again for learning with me. I'll talk to you soon.